We do love you, Leeds. Cheers, Theo. Welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. Bit of a different video today. I'm joined by the legend Boss Nass, who's a friend of the channel. Hello, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, sound, mate. Yeah, I had a decent day today. Yeah, so sound ready for this.
Brilliant. That's all that matters, my mate. So, like we spoke about, the video is the best worst 11 of the last 20 years. So since we last got relegated. In 2004-5 season, I think it was. Rating going through and picking some very poor clusters of players in this list. I mean, hopefully you're going to be on channel tomorrow, mate. We're going to have a bit of a subscriber show tomorrow, and you're going to come on and talk about like current affairs. So we won't touch on that too much, but obviously, I don't know how you feel in terms of how things are going at the minute, but it doesn't take much for us to sort of forget about the tripe we've had not so long ago, Boss Nass. So this is sort of why I think it's quite a relevant video to do now, just to remind people of some of the players and the talent or lack of we've had over the last 20 years. Do you think there's some validity to that point, pal?
I've got some absolute stinkers, mate. I've got some absolute stinkers. Honestly, I've got enough players on my list to make I reckon the ultimate dross Leeds United 11. And there's some absolute stinkers on there.
Brilliant.
Actually, I've got some wild cards in there as well, Matty. I've got because I thought I left this purposefully before we came. I didn't want to say it. I think we should appoint the worst manager as well.
I've got that down on list, mate. Well, that's where we're going to start, pal. That's where we're going to start. So I'll let you kick it off, mate. Who's on your list, or who do you think should be at the top of the list for the worst manager of the last 20 years?
My manager that I'm gonna appoint for the hellish Leeds United team, right? And there's only one name for me. It has to be, for me, Dennis Wise.
Dennis Wise, that is a good shout, mate. He's on my list. He is on my list.
Whoever let that Chelsea weirdo into our club, honestly, I want to go back in time and sack him before they even got into the reception.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because we went on a really good run with Wise, but because of where he's from and who he is, he's just someone you could never fall in love with, no matter how well we did. You know what I mean? Or didn't do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I was happy when he got his windows put through.
Mate, I can't disagree with you, mate. He's someone that I put on list, but somebody I just never felt any attachment to. I remember having, I think Gus Poyet was his number 2, weren't he? And the fans sort of preferred him, even though he was Chelsea as well. But we preferred Poyet to Wise. But yet, I think there's a couple of worse candidates than Wise.
Go for it.
So I'm sure they're on your list too. But on my list, I've obviously got Wise. I've got Hockaday, which is an obvious one. Bless him. Fair play to him. Like, he's just a PE teacher, but fair play. Give it a go. We'd have all done the same, mate.
Yeah.
We'd have all had a go.
Winner. Do you know what I mean?
100%. It bloody well, wasn't it? But then you've got Steve Evans, Paul Heckingbottom. I've got 2 more on the list, and it's Jesse Marsh. Can't stand him. But I think Darko Milanic, because he only lasted 32 days after replacing Hockaday. And you've got that too, aren't you, Danny? And
I mean, all of them again, absolute stink bombs. Hockaday, look, for me, I can't blame the guy. Do you know what I mean? How he got that job? It was like if it came out on April 4th, you genuinely would have thought it were a joke. You wouldn't have believed it.
No, you wouldn't. So unbelievable. Like I say, fair play to him, mate. I can't remember how many games he was in charge of. I think maybe an handful, maybe six or 7. But like you say, it came so left field under Cellino. Like stuff we used to do was just so wild. And like I say, appointing. I think he is now a PE teacher at a college somewhere. It's just wild. And what a story! What a story! He can always say, "Well, Leeds United manager."
Only Leeds, mate. Only Leeds.
It's just such a Leeds thing of doing it, but yeah. I think Darko Milanic gets it, me, just because he only lasted 32 days and he won a stinker. But you've got a list there, mate, where you like I say, you've got Uwe Rosler. We had so many. I mean, Steve Evans. So many poor managers there, mate. I mean, can we just touch on Jesse?
Joey Barton called him.
No.
He said his belly was like a bin bag full of milk.
Joey Barton's funny, mate. That's funny. Can we just touch on Jesse Marsh as well?
Jesse Marsh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those where What we were told, he was the natural
Replacement.
progression.
Yeah,
For,
progression. The word.
Yeah, and that's just if ever I've heard absolute trash come out of Victor Orta's mouth, that's probably up there in the top 5.
It couldn't be further away, could he, pal? It couldn't have been further away.
No, it was just chaos ball, wasn't it?
It was awful, mate. I mean, we're getting a lot of stick now, aren't we, for having a lot of the ball and some games being too passive, not doing much with it. I disagree with that, but I can see certain people, why they can say that. But under Jesse, we didn't have the ball. It was all a case of trying to win ball high up and within a couple of passes try and score. And it was just so boring because we were having 30% possession most games. And yeah, it worked at the odd time, but it was just awful football. I'd much rather watch a side hold the ball and try and create some as opposed to his tactics, were just awful. Yeah. But some great candidates in there, mate. I mean, like you say, that
I don't think as much as I dislike Jesse Marsh, anybody that's won a Champions League game for me gets the nod ahead of Hockaday or Milanic.
Yeah, to be fair, mate. Yeah, to be fair, it's funny because apart from maybe Gary Monk and Grayson, obviously Barbie else, everybody else has been tried like since the old days.
Yeah,
really.
Mate. Grayson, everybody so underrated.
Yeah, Grayson was brilliant. Gary Monk started the upward curve a little bit from mid to 7th, and then obviously it went stagnant a bit under Christiansen, then Bielsa took it where he took it. But there didn't many names in the last 20 years of Bar Bielsa and maybe a Monk who had a good year and Grayson. Rest of them are pretty poor, mate. So it wasn't a hard task to try and combine a list of poor managers, buddy.
I think we go ahead, get the contracts out, and we sign Darko Milanic to the Dross 11.
I do, mate. I reckon he comes in, mate. Hopefully he can last more than 32 days. But with this team we're going to conjure up, I don't think he'll last 32 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, Danny as well. Danny Talk Sport, mate. If you can compile this full 11 for afterwards, so we can look at it as a comment, that would be sick.
Buddy, to be fair, I'm new to all this techie stuff, boss. That's right. I'm really not good at it, but I think I've sort of fathomed out. Look, how to do this. Honestly, mate, I might be a bit slow with it, but hopefully it'll work.
Oh, we're doing the proper job.
I think so, mate. I think you can see that, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Get in. Right. So happy days. Keep it at that then. Right then. So goalkeeper. Who have you got on your list? Give us a few shouts for your keeper.
Honestly, I think when we do this, can we have one? For me, this is my strongest candidate. I can't imagine it being anybody else.
Right.
It's like like when they have United Nations and you get to veto something. For me, if Paul Rachubka is not the goalkeeper that we are signing to the Dross 11, I don't know who it could be.
Honestly, mate, I've got my list here and it's got the big star next to it. That is why we're going to say 100%, mate. 100%.
I don't think we have to waste any time on that one.
No, I mean, can you remember some of the games he had? He only played 6 games in total, and we signed him from Blackpool. But there was one game in particular, boss. That's when he played against Blackpool. And I've been looking through bits of information about certain players. And I YouTubed this because I sort of remember what happened. And in the first half, we went 3-0 down, and it was 3 individual Elan Melier type of headers that he gifted his whole team 3 in a row, and they subbed him off at half time, mate. For Alex Cairns.
I think Elan Melier is Kika Casilla levels compared to this mush.
Mate, honestly, Paul Rachubka is a walk into this position. I mean, I had down on my list, I only had 3, to be fair. There's a few more, but I had Rachubka, I had Felix Wiedveld.
Yeah.
Remember him? And I had Paddy Kenny. But Paddy Kenny, I suppose, were okay for the time, I suppose. It was where we were.
Paddy Kenny, he came from Sheffield United, so that's never great. Was it Sheffield United he came from?
I think it was, mate, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where he went after Sheffield.
He was known for Sheffield United.
Yeah, of course he was.
Apparently, he's got a league banter. Like, if anybody watches Under the Cosh, he had an episode on there.
Did he?
And his banter is supposedly, like, elite. So, like, he gets points for that for me.
Just for having banter. Yeah, to be fair, he did have that banter, didn't he? He didn't mind a bit of stick with fans as well. He quite took it in good spirit, to be fair.
So
I didn't mind Silvestri, Danny, to be fair. I know he weren't the best, but same again, for the time, I don't think he were that bad.
Yeah, and he gone back to Italy.
And he's doing all right. Yeah, he's doing all right. Like I say, I just want to clarify as well, like on some of these players, me and Boston have spoke before, and some of them are down to just severe lack of quality. Some of them are down to maybe, how much they cost the club or issues within the club. So there might be players in here who have higher quality than others, but it's sort of like your preference really of what you want to go with. But yeah, that's the keeper nailed in, mate. You nailed that one. You can't ask much more than Paul Rachubka. He's between the sticks for the best worst 11. Right, I'm going to go left back first.
Yeah,
so there's quite a few stinkers on here. So do you want me to say who I've got, or do you want me to give the list I've got and see if you've got
I think I've got 2 out and out left backs, and I've kept it at that.
No, go on, you go first then, because I've got 4 down.
Right. Well, I've got this one, and I think he's a left back, so all Leeds United fans can just laugh at me if he was a right back or whatever. I've got Lawrence de Bock.
Yep. You're nailing this one.
And I've got one other, which is a wild shout, because he was actually a decent footballer and he played for us in a period in which we were lighting up Europe. But I can't stand him because he was willing to bankrupt the club. And for me, that is a cardinal sin. If you're not willing to sort out your contract to a point where you're willing to bankrupt a club, do you know what I mean?
Are you going to say Mills?
I'm going to say Danny Mills because he makes my skin crawl.
Well, I like how you got that in, but I think he left the club 21 years ago. But he did play at left back at odd time, but he was predominantly right back, as you know. But I think he did play at left back once or twice. Yeah. But if it had been a year more, I'd have had, because what he said since he retired, it's been quite recent, hasn't it? I've seen him on this podcast. What he actually speaks about and laughs about while he's speaking about it, Boston, is actually quite vulgar, to be fair.
Do you know what I always get mixed up? I always get mixed up, right, with Danny Mills and this is, I know this is really bad knowledge, and I should just look it up and not come on a Leeds United channel and embarrass myself. But I always get mixed up with left back and right back with Danny Mills and Gary Kelly, and now I'm thinking that they're both right back. Maybe.
Yeah, they're both right backs. Like I said, Danny Mills filled in at left back a couple of times, but they're both right backs. Yeah, Danny Mills were like the progression to Kelly, I think I was supposed to be. But yeah, they both sort of vied out for that position in Europe, didn't they, and stuff. And yeah, Danny Mills Gary Kelly's just kept his class, keeps his head down. Danny Mills goes out on podcasts and speaks a lot of shit.
1 year out on that. 1 year out.
Yeah, I think you are. I think you left here before that, mate. Yeah.
But other than that, mate, I've just got Lawrence de Bock.
Well, that's the only one we need because he is going in the side. But I am going to throw out a few more. Yeah, that's 2 out of 2, mate. What I've got anyway. But there was Stephen Craney.
Yeah.
We got from Blackpool as well. He was a bit of a stinker. Not as bad as the Bock, like. And there was Fede Bessone, which he were a weird one in because he came and I think he either grew up or he were in the same youth setup at Barcelona with Lionel Messi, and he's good pals with Messi. And we were all buzzing when, like when someone comes and there's a few more players who come with, a little bit of either a quality pedigree or a bit of a storyline, and you get excited. And he was one of them because he come like through Barcelona, set up new Messi, and he came and he was just an awful footballer. So Bessone is one who unfortunately just misses out. And there were also Cameron Borthwick Jackson, if you remember, ex Scum player.
Yeah.
I think he only played an handful of games. But yeah, out of that list, Lawrence de Bock, who only played 7 games, we signed him from Club Bruges. And worst thing was, we give him a 4.5-year deal. And I think we still had him on his books up until 3 seasons ago. He was still actually on our books, mate.
Didn't he get some phony caps for Belgium as well?
I looked at that today because I thought he had 1 cap. It turned out he'd never got an actual cap, but he'd been in the senior squad on 2 separate occasions, but never made it off the bench. But he'd played every other youth level all the way through, under 17s, 18s, all the way through with all them star players. And he'd never quite made an appearance. But yeah, he was in basically every Belgium squad right through from youth level. So it looked like he had pedigree, and he came to us. And it was absolutely dross, mate. Absolutely dross. It really was. But I sort of thought you'd have the Bock at left back. I don't really think there's many worse than him at all, mate.
I can tell already you've done work. You've done so much more work for this than me, mate. So look, if I can keep up this pace, then I'll be well happy. But I don't think I will.
Nah, I don't know, mate. I think you will, pal. To be fair, I reeled off loads of these. And then I had to go online just to get the bits of information because I don't do much research. I really asked to just sort of speak my mind, but it was more to get sort of like how many games I'd played and a little bit more info. But the general list, I just reeled off and it came out pretty easy because there's just so much shit. Just so much shit.
You know, like I said to you earlier on, because like through the banter years and all that stuff, like there's so many players that came and did like had bit part jobs, weren't here for very long. Straight in the recycle bin, mate. I don't. So
yeah, no, I know. To be fair, mate, I was speaking to one of my best pal Priestley, who does a lot of vlogs with me when I go to games, and he were reeling some out. Honestly, there was a striker called Lee Irwin. Can't even remember him. He was naming some names, mate, like really obscure ones who maybe came on loan and played 20 minutes and never played again. Honestly, Boss Nasty's loads of them. I can't actually believe how many people got to pull on that fucking shirt that we all love, and they actually got to play for that club.
Do you know what I'm surprised with? It's just like, and fair play to people because look, you've got much better memory than me. Like there is some proper Leeds United encyclopedias out there just up here. It's mental.
Yeah, there is. Say my pal's one of them. My pal can't remember why he walked into a room, but he can remember what score was 30 years ago between Leeds and Wednesday or something. You know what I mean? He's nuts. He's my mate Priestley. I look at Danny. He's coming out of it there. Look, Leo. We think we got him from Motherwell. Yeah, I think we did, pal. To be fair. We'll go on to now centre backs. So this is quite a long list because obviously it's over two positions. Anyone jump out to you, Boss Nass?
Well, I'll tell you now. I only put 7 names down for the full defence, so I've only got 3 room for error.
Yeah,
I think Roque Jr. is the obvious one.
Well, I think he might have been year before, or have I made that up?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? When I've done this list, I haven't took into account the 20-year thing.
No, the thing is with Rocky Jr., right? He came a little. We'll speak about it anyway because I went to my first game. Because I'm always a rugby fan, me, rugby family. So I didn't start going to Leeds games until like my teens, really. But I went with my pal Priestley and his granddad, and we went to an FA Cup game or a League Cup game. Used to get tickets through school and that back then. We played Scum and I think we might have drew 2-2 and he got both goals, Lee Roque Jr. But other than that one game, he was absolutely pants and he'd come to Leeds as a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
It was dross, wasn't it? It was so poor. It was so poor, mate.
Yeah.
It's a good shout, but like I say, I think it misses out again by a year or two, but worth touching on because, like I say, he even went to the game when he got a couple. But yeah, it was
honourable mention for Roque Jr.
I love that. He don't get mentioned on YouTube much these days, mate. So he'll be happy. He'll be happy for that. Who else have you got, pal?
Right. Do you know what? I'm gonna. Don't want to embarrass myself too much, so I'm gonna actually
Google this.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I was a centre back, and I've spelled it wrong. I'm just gonna go for it.
Go on.
Giuseppe Bellucci.
Yep. He's on my list and he's a starter. Yeah.
Come on.
He's starting. That's 3 out of 3. He starts, mate. 100%. 100%. I'm going to whack him in now because he's on my list as well. Do you know how many games he played for us, mate? I was surprised. 66. He actually, I remember him, quite well. But, 66 games for such a poor footballer. But have you got him in there for his footballing ability? Have you got him in there for other reasons? Because there were quite a few other reasons he's in there for me, mate, if you remember.
No, yeah, for me, it's just because on the football pitch, he was absolute dog dirt. And it shows quite how bad we have been at points for the size of the club.
It does. I mean, we're siding from Catania, which I knew anyway, but I couldn't remember the 6 players in total who did this, but he was one of the ones. Remember Bosnas when they refused to play? Look at that. He's on it. Yeah, so he was one of the 6. So there was him, there were Antonucci, Silvestri, Decora, Del Fabro, and Igor Cani. I can't even remember him. But he was one of the Italian 6 who refused to play. So for me, he gets in there anyway. Even though he plays 66 games, he got a goal. I think he scored a bit of a knuckleball free kick. And at the time, he was a bit of a passionate player, and some fans liked him at the time. But he ruined everything when he did that for me.
Yeah, he was just not. And he won't if you're gonna pull a stunt like that, you're gonna have to get a new club eventually. You're not good enough.
No.
So just behave yourself and just be bad.
When you read that list out of 6 people that refuse to play for Leeds, I can't preach to know what they've all done since they've left Leeds, but I'm pretty sure they've never gone any higher than Leeds. anyone who refuses to play for Leeds, you better be a good fucking footballer, boss Nass. You know what I mean? To have that sort of liberty, to take those sort of liberties, you better be a good baller. Yeah, absolutely shocking, mate. Are you still there, pal? I think I've lost you. I think I've lost you, mate. I'll keep going anyway. So, yeah, Danny and Elnor, sorry. Yeah, I've got Scott Wootton down too. He's definitely going to be the second centre half to the best worst 11 in the last 20 years. Got to be. There's no one else who can really come close. I'll bang him in there. And I'll go through the list of everybody else I've got, but nobody comes close to Scott Wootton on this one. I think that's a cracking centre half pairing. Are you back, buddy? 1 sec. Remove that one. Are you back?
I am, mate. Look, we're having some technical issues. I think the wife's Mac, it's gone down to 5%, and it's just like refusing to play ball. So, yeah, we've gone a bit old school, and we've got the old mobile out. So
looks bang on that, mate. Looks bang on anyway. It's fine. I can hear you. I can see you. That's brilliant.
How bad are those webcams on Macs, by the way?
I can't believe that's a Mac, to be fair, mate. Yeah, shocking.
Mental, innit?
Shocking, mate. So anyway, what you might have missed in that last 60 seconds, pal, is we've gone with Scott Wootton. The chat are saying that. I think that. I mean, he come from... Well, he started at Scum. Anyone coming from Scum needs to be a good player to get the backing of the Leeds supporters for me. But yeah, Scott Wootton joins Belushi at that centre half pairing.
Yeah, I'm more than happy with that. I didn't have him on my list.
Can you remember him? He was just a big slab of a man. He made Harry Maguire look nimble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did think of him, but in my head, and it might just be my opinion, this doesn't look good for the Mac, mate. But I had Tom Lees because I never rated him.
I didn't rate Tom Lees, no. He's had a championship career, hasn't he? I think he's been at Chef Wednesday and maybe been around Yorkshire, I think, hasn't he? I think he might still be going. But yeah, I didn't rate Tom Lees, to be fair. I did think there were a lot more notable mentions, which I'm going to go through now. One's unfortunate to miss out. Yeah, Danny Luba Mikalic. Yeah,
I can't remember him. I can't remember him at all.
Yeah, I think you're a big Serbian, I think, if I'm right, Danny. But listen, this list, see if any of these jump out at you. So I had Sean Gregan.
Yeah, pants.
I can't remember this guy playing for Leeds, but he did. I remember him from Villa days. Ugo Egiog.
Google it, mate. He can't have played many games at all.
Ugo Egiog, you remember him from Villa back in there?
Yeah, because he was decent for them, if I remember right.
Yeah, played for Leeds, but I haven't looked how many games he played. But yeah, Ugo Egiog's one of them. Rui Marquez. Yeah. Alan Sheehan. Richard Naylor, which I remember. Neil Collins. He was poor. Alex Bruce. Darren O'Day. Don't remember him. Jason Pierce. He was captain for some bloody games. Yeah, and they're the ones I've got down on my list. They're all the other notable mentions. What's this say by Danny? He did play. I think we got him from Borough. It might have been. Yeah, he played for Borough as well, didn't he? Ugo Egiog did. Right,
here, Matt, here's one for you. Can you still see me and hear me?
I can't. You're frozen, but I can hear you fine.
All right. No, yeah. I think what I'm going to do... Well, I can't see my list. That's my problem now because I'm on my phone. Which is really annoying. So what I'll do is we're going to have to go for the poor quality video stream.
It's fine, mate. Whatever you want to do, pal. It's just a bit of fun, boss. That's whatever you want to do, mate. Whatever you can do.
So just and look, this isn't Matt's production quality here. This is all Boss Nass messing this up, guys. All right, so just remember that, right?
It's all love here, mate. It's all love. I'm just an amateur, mate. Don't worry about it.
Oh, right, yeah. I've got. My wife's got the idea. We're going to keep the good quality. I'm going to take a quick picture of my list, and then I'm going to use her phone for my list.
There we go.
1 second.
Up there for thinking.
That's it, mate. 1 sec.
Typical Bridtown Wi-Fi, Boss Nass. Danny knows. It's not the Wi-Fi, I don't think, but yeah, we'll go with that. Right backs. Right
Yeah.
backs next.
And then that bit at the top as well.
Anybody else in chat want to? Anybody else watching in chat want to get in and give some
Right, so
of their shouts?
Just one. Yeah. Oh, we are fully back in the game. We're back in the game. We've got the list.
I can see you. I can hear you. You've got your list. We're back in the game, mate. We'll take that. Right then, right backs. Let's hear your list of right backs.
My list of right backs, because we're doing it for the last 21 years of Leeds United.
I love that. Love that.
My right back, I think I'm going to go with either Danny Mills, Jock, or right, because he really has been this pants, and I think it's because it was this clear in my memory, because he's just so bad, and for the price that we paid, remember the prices that we paid for a lot of these players back in the day was pittance, because Bates, he didn't have much, well, he had loads of money, he didn't want to spend it.
Yeah.
Rasmus Christiansen.
It's a good shout, mate. He isn't on my list, but that is a good shout. I mean, for what we paid for him, for what we saw of him.
Cost / performance, I don't think you find a worse price to performance ratio than Rasmus.
I can't disagree with that, mate. It was absolutely shocking. Weirdly, now he's actually playing really well in Germany. Frankfurt are third, and they want to buy him on permanent basis. Take him out, drive him to airport. Yeah, honestly. So yeah, to be fair, mate, it's one that I didn't put on my list because I didn't really think that close. But to be fair, I didn't think that close. I did actually, because I've got a player even closer than that. To be fair, so my list, mate, was Jason Crowe. Which I
liked him, you know.
I liked him. I think he's on my list, mate, just because it was just a typical Championship player, but it was okay at the time. To be fair, it wasn't that poor. It
was his attitude. His attitude. He'd put in a lead style tackle, and I'm all for that.
It would, mate. We had a lot of players like that, didn't we, mate? Even if the ceiling wasn't high and they were quite poor technically, you know, as long as you put a shift in, you know what we're like for Leeds fans. But yeah, I had him. I had a player called Sebastian Saucer. No idea.
Don't remember him.
How about Lee Bromby?
Yeah, he was poor. But what for the level that we were at, did he stick out as much as Rasmus did in the Premier League? I'm not sure.
Probably not. I've got Paul Connolly, Lee Peltier.
Yeah, he's pants.
But like you say, did he stand out as bad as Rasmus? No. How about this for a wild card? The one I would have put in, because I didn't even think of Rasmus, is Jed Spence. Just because of what we got for what we thought we'd get. We paid £1 million loan fee, which I know is not a lot. Yeah. Sent him back in January for his attitude. But obviously, in terms of levels and, you know, how capable he is as a footballer, he shouldn't be on this list. But for what we saw, so for me, after hearing your take on Rasmus and reading the rest of them out, it's between Rasmus and Jed Spence for me.
I have got something to say on Jed Spence. I think it's one of them where if you look at the managers that we've had recently, I'm just talking Bielsa and Farke, really.
Yeah,
they're not big ego men. They don't. If your head's struggling to get through a door, they don't like that. They like people to be modest, hardworking, and talented. In my mind,
I agree.
So he came in obviously with a chip in his shoulder because he thought he was going to a level which he was above. Which sometimes you need that in a football team, though. That's what I want to say. Sometimes you need that. Like sometimes you need people who've got that wide in the brain, because then they go out and do it. Did he go out and do it? Not really. Was he given enough of a chance? Not for me.
He played at left back, didn't he? Most of the time, Boss Nass.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you're bringing Jed Spence in for £1 million and you're playing him at left back, more for you.
Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. He never got a run, did he, on that right hand side? I think the couple of times we saw him, we saw what he could do. I think he's a notable mention in this list for the reason, you know, him going back and his attitude and stuff. But I can't disagree. I think in a dressing room, you need a couple of people who've got that element of maybe not cockiness. That a little bit of arrogance is good if you use it the right way. Maybe he just teetered over edge. But now it looks like he's gone back to Spurs and he's actually doing something well because he's actually getting in their side now.
I think it was a lot to do with just being late for meetings and stuff, and some managers just won't have that, will they?
It sounds trivial, doesn't it? But I suppose in a professional football club, they're going to really hammer that home out there. But like you say, it does sound quite trivial. But to send him back in January, obviously it was a failure. But to be fair, I'm going off the fact it cost us £1 million, and that's peanuts in comparison to Erasmus. So I'm going to give that one, mate. I'm going to go Erasmus for Leeds. What we got out of Erasmus for the money we've paid,
shocking.
Shocking. I'll tell you what, mate. Imagine if no one signs him and he comes back and he's has a worldie next season in Premier League. I don't see it happening, but imagine.
It'd be the modern day miracle. People would be going to church in the droves, mate, because it'd have to be a miracle.
Yeah,
right. So what am I on here? Right, we've gone through it. I think I'm having to squint here because I'm looking at my phone. But I've got Rachubka, I've got Dubok, I've got Beluski, missed out on Wootton. But hey, look, I'm 4 for 5, and I'm happy with that.
You are, mate. You are. Like I say, that's the only one I didn't have down as well. Is Rasmus, but going through contenders, if I'd have thought of Rasmus, it'd have been my number one anyway. Right. So Sean, nice to see you, mate. Glad you didn't chat. We spoke. Bosnas had Rocky Junior down, but I'm sure it's past the 20-year mark. But yeah, he had him down as well. But I'm sure going for the last 20 year, I'm sure he was just before that. If I'm wrong, then fair enough. But I'm sure he was just outside that. Centre mid has to be Seth Johnson. You say right. So we're going to go to wingers first, anyway, before we touch on centre mid. So wingers is honestly, mate, scandalous the amount of wingers we've had. Like it's probably the longest list I've got. But honestly, shocking. I'll read mine out anyway this time and see.
Yeah,
it's a long list though, pal. So let me know if you've got any of these.
Yeah.
So Lloyd Sam.
Don't have him.
Jerome Thomas.
Don't have it. Can I just prerequisite this, right?
Yep.
I don't. My memory is pretty bad, and I will have seen these people either on the TV or to the few games that I get to, because obviously I go down to my non-league team because I do a lot of stuff for them. So if you're gonna Leeds fans, don't hammer me. Don't start calling me plastic. You'll hurt my feelings, right? But some of these, honestly, they've gone straight off.
There's no wrong with that, mate. There is no wrong with that.
At least I admit it.
No, too right. Some of these, like I say, some of these were stinkers, and to be fair, mate, a lot of these only played 5 or 6 games. So, like I say, Lloyd Sam, Jerome Thomas, a player called Ryan Hall, Jimmy Kebe. He was a weird one, Jimmy Kebe, because he had a right good pedigree, I think, at Reading, and he came to us and he was just shit. But
I've got Jimmy Kebe.
I thought you'd have him down. Yeah. I've got Jimmy Kebe down. I've got Sanchez Watt. I've got Gary McSheffrey, Andy Johnson. No, sorry, Andy Robinson, Philippe De Costa, and then I've put Adrian down because I've gone with a 4-4-2 to try and get 2 strikers in. I know Adrian will like a number 10, but I've gone with Adrian, and then the last one, mate, which I think he's got to get in there just because of who he is, because he's a fucking wrong one. Adam Johnson. On loan from Middlesbrough for 5 games, boss Nas. Adam Johnson, mate.
Right, yeah. I'm sorry, if you're a nonce, you're going on the pitch. You got
to go on there.
I mean, that's just automatic. You're in the Dross 11. It's happening.
100%. So he only played 5 games, but he goes on left for me, Adam Johnson.
Yeah. I've got another one which is a value to performance one, but it's not as bad as Rasmus was. But I have got Elder Costa in there.
Yeah, well, I didn't put him on my list, but I was thinking about Elder Costa. I was to and from with it. I had him because I think it was 16 million.
Yeah.
But I just sort of think he probably did enough to not warrant being on my list. Although they were very poor. Very poor. Yeah. He had spells, or didn't he, boss? That's like that first month in Premier League. He got, I think, 2 or 3. He had spells, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but he never did what he never did enough really for us to be happy with what we signed him for.
Everyone was gassed. And then everyone realised, oh yeah, Wolves had done the job on us here.
Yeah, he's a typical example, isn't he, of a serious injury can just ruin someone, and he got injured at Wolves. Before that, Chelsea wanted him. He was linked with all top 4 sides. Got injured for Wolves. Played, I think, a handful of games. Got loaned out to us. Never recovered, and now I don't even know where he is now. But never did note for us really, apart from odd spell. Luckily, that side were good enough, wanted to get up anyway.
If we're going off hype to the actual real product, Adrian is up there. I can remember that hype like it was yesterday. I thought we was getting like a world-class baller.
Yeah, I did. Do you remember him?
No.
How about him?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't mind him.
He was quick, wasn't he? He was really quick.
Yeah, he had he had one quality, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but yeah, Jimmy Kebe was shocking.
Yeah. For me, I don't know whether to put in Jimmy Kebe or Adrian because I feel like Adrian has to get in this side, and we're not having a 10. But I don't know. Touching Adrian, what do you think to him?
I'm happy with either, mate, because it means I get another tick on my list.
Right. So, Danny and Sean, are we going Adrian or Jimmy Kebe on the right of midfield? Give a second. Give a name. Kebe or Adrian? Because I can't choose between the two. Whoever comes in first, we're going to go with that. Kebe. Yeah, we'll go with Kebe. Kebe was absolutely pants.
Come on, the boys. I know I've dropped one in there, and I definitely have. I didn't get Johnson.
No, I wouldn't go that, to be fair.
100% goes in there.
Yeah, no, he asked him. Like I said, I didn't even think of Johnson. My pal, when I was talking to him earlier at dinner time, and he was like, "Yeah, he's got a shout as well." Cameron Stewart, yeah, Danny, good shout him. I didn't have him on my list either. He was pants. But yeah, I think them two deserve it.
I remember the better players more than I do the bad players because I absolutely adored Max Gradle.
Oh, he was class.
And I adored Robert Snodgrass. And do you know, like, these are the people...
Rudy Austin, people like that, you know, ones that stood out at the time.
I never rated him, and that's... No. I know that's wild, isn't it?
Wild, mate. Wild for time.
Wild for time. But honestly, it's one of them. Just if you want to put in the chat, Boss Nass doesn't know a ball, do it. But I just didn't see it.
Nah, it is what it is, mate. We all have different opinions, don't it, mate? Like I say, at the time, he was a bit of a cult hero for most. I was a big fan of his, but like technical ability didn't have it. But yeah, he's managing out in Jamaican Premier League down there, top of league. So he's doing all right there after 10 games, I think. So fair play to him. Right. So we're going to move now into centre mid. So let's see what Sean's put. Centre mid, okay. Johnson and Mull Gregan. Right. Who have you got down on your centre mids, Boss Nass?
Well, like I said, I only put 7 names down for the whole of midfield, so I'm on a wing and a prayer here now.
You really are, mate. You really are.
I've got Kevin Nichols.
He isn't on my list. I forgot about him, but yeah, I remember.
Right, so Dennis Wise brought him in from Luton, and he named him captain. He got sent off. He got sent off, and he didn't play much more. And then he asked to get sent back to Luton. He asked
never
for a transfer back to Luton. Yeah, it didn't go well for him, and
Did he get it?
I can't remember if he got it. I just remember the headlines that I asked. He genuinely asked to go back to where he'd just come from after being named captain under Dennis Wise and getting sent off in his first game.
What, he got named captain as well? I can't even remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a shout, mate, right there, isn't it?
So I've got him. Shout. I've got Casper Sloth.
Yeah, he's on my list. Yeah, he's on my list.
And I've got Michael Brown.
Yeah, he's on my list as well. Does anyone remember that banger? So F you, Adam Johnson, you're going down for nonsense. I don't, mate, no, but it sounds a good song. Centre mids, mate. I had down Matt Spring, Ian Westlake, Peter Sweeney, Michael Doyle. I think we got him from Coventry. He was poor. Paul Green, David Norris. Weston McKennie is the outside shout just because.
Okay.
I think that's another wild card, a bit like my Spence one. But Weston McKennie is definitely a wild shout. I know quality wise better than all them, but just for Leeds, I think he was shite. But Michael Brown and Casper Sloth are the ones I've starred. Do you think Weston McKennie's a wild take to be on the list? Not to be in the team, but on the actual list.
I'll be honest with you. I think I've only got a chance of getting one of these in. I think I've only got a chance between Michael Brown, Casper Sloth, and Kevin Nichols. I think I'm only getting one, right? So I'd love one of them to go in, but I think you've got. I don't agree with the Norris shout. I thought he were all right.
Yeah. He was, to be fair. You know what it is? Sometimes it's more just banging down names just to remind people that even though he was okay, he was okay. Do you know what I mean? He weren't.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't be on that list, but I think we got him for Portsmouth. He was steady, but it wouldn't get anywhere near now. And people forget this, David. How many times do we say, or fans don't like a particular player, even just based on the names, because it's not a fancy name. It's not David Norris. Nobody'd want to play like that these days. Do you know what I mean? But it was steady for the time again. Probably shouldn't be on the list, but yeah, that's why I put him down really, just because it was just a steady Eddie, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy for Danny and Danny and
Danny, Aina, and Sean.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. My head's frazzled, boys. But yeah, I'm happy for. Are we happy for one of the guys in the chat to pick one? I think we should.
I think so. I'm happy for that. I think we should. Does Michael Brown, was he absolutely pants? Or is it's funny because I remember going to games and we'd always sing we all dream of a team of Michael Browns, and they go through the full squad numbers and they go number 1 Michael Brown, number 2 Michael, and it was like a cult hero just for being shit. But like, I don't know if they were shitter actually. I think they might have been shitter than actually Michael Brown. To be fair, even though
I think you're right. I think you're right. He was another one, wasn't he? There is worse. Worse.
It was shit, like I say, but I do think there were worse. I think I'm gonna go Kasper Sloth. I'm gonna call it on one of them. Kasper Sloth's got to get one because he were really poor.
Right, I'm happy with that because I've belted one in already. I've got that. So yeah, Danny, Sean, and Ina. Danny, Sean, and Ina show now. Let's get one in, boys. And if you pick, another one that I've got, boys, I'm buzzing here.
So Danny's got Paul Green, Solomon Olembe. Christ, yeah. Radistan. Honestly, Danny, you know ball. If you're not Googling these, you know ball, mate. You've got a memory like a sponge, unlike me, who's like a bleeding sieve. But yeah, I remember Tong as well. Tong, yeah, he's a shout. But yeah, I want someone to Sloth over Brown all day. Yeah, 100%. We've gone with Sloth. We need one more name. I want someone to. I want two of you to agree. Ina, is there any of them you like the sound of? Paul Green, Tong,
Kevin Nichols,
mate.
Kevin Nichols.
I can't remember him. Does Danny? Can you remember Nichols? Can you remember all that happening with Dennis Wise and stuff? Because just hearing Boss Nass talk about it, it looks like he's a shoo-in. Really, looks like he's an absolute shoo-in with that story. But I'm happy for Nichols. Danny, can you?
Well, there is a chance that I totally made all of that up, boys. So if anybody wants to fact check me, go for it. But yeah, that's what I remember. You know, when you just remember like weird things like newspapers, you remember seeing it on.
Yeah.
Back in the day when people used to buy newspapers and that.
I know, back in there, mate. Yeah. Well, Danny's just confirmed that story, so we'll go with that because I can't even remember that story, mate. But that's true. It deserves to go in our best worst, 100%. Right, 2 positions left. Strikers. My God, we've had a right fucking host of shit strikers, mate. And some of the names, mate. I can't even believe they even played for Leeds. Like, I forgot my top of my list. Julian Jurchin, the first season 20 years ago. Julian Jurchin, mate. Like, he was mint at Villa. Julian Jurchin played for Leeds. Crazy.
Can I go through my list just because these are going to be like the more obvious ones, and then I know like the encyclopedias in the chat will have loads of ones worse. I've got Luke Varney. Now I don't know if he played more wing than striker or more striker. I know he did a bit of both, didn't he?
I've got him as a striker, mate. I have.
So I've got Luke Varney. I've got Michael Ricketts. 25 appearances, 0 goals.
Yeah, I've got him down.
I've got Billy Painter.
Oh, I didn't put him down. Yeah, Painter. Christ.
I've got Lasoga because I just didn't rate him.
Yeah, number 9 for Leeds, Lasoga. He was
and I've got another one, but I don't think it can even be considered because I don't think he never got enough minutes. Sonny Perkins, but we'll chuck that one in the bin, I think.
Yeah, well, to be fair, mate, it hasn't worked out for him, has it?
Yeah.
100% not. So my list is I'll touch on Danny's first. Enoch Shumney. Yeah, he was poor. I quite like Robbles. I like Robbles. And David Sommer, Danny, I thought he was all right. To be fair, he just got injured, but he was okay.
I thought he was good.
I didn't mind Sommer.
I think Sommer, if he could just keep himself fit, was probably he was all right.
He'd have been sound if he'd have been fit, mate. He would all right. Whenever he was fit, he was decent. But yeah, I've got Michael Ricketts. Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't realise he played 20 odd games. For us, to be fair, I didn't think it was that many.
25, no goals, mate.
20,
I think.
It's shocking that. But how good was he for Bolton back in the day? He was class, wasn't he?
Yeah, but it's all right when you're not wearing an heavy shirt. It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, to be fair, mate. When you're playing for these tin pot clubs, Trezor Candle, Mike Grella. Well, I've got Ricketts, J. Roy Grott.
Oh, he was bad.
He was bad, mate. Brian Montenegro, Nicky Ajose, Dominic Polion, Luke Polion. Remember him?
I do, yeah. But at the same time, it's sticking in my head that was he one of the ones that everyone thought had loads of potential, but just never really got anywhere.
Yeah, because I think he started out at Scum, didn't he? And yeah, and there were him, and then there were also Danny Webber. I've got him on my list as well. He was an ex-Scum one, but yeah, Polion, he had loads of potential, mate, and he just did nothing. How about Steve Morrison, Millwall legend? That transfer, mate, we swapped Morrison for Becchio, mate, with Norwich.
Is that one of the all-time worst transfers ever?
Honestly, absolutely disgusting. I think we might have got a bit of money. I would imagine you'd hope so. A plus Morrison for Becchio, which is just honestly, it's like swapping a fucking Lamborghini for a Vauxhall Nova with 3 wheels. It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's just such a bad swap in it. But yeah, but there's also a bit of a wild card one. Well, both wild cards, but I don't know if you can remember. This is a really obscure one, right? And we loaned him, and we loaned him for 4 games, and his name is Habibou, right? That sounds ridiculous, and he honestly is so obscure, right? But we signed him, and on loan, he was like, I think he was 6'2". He reminded me a bit of Lukaku back in the day. He had dreadlocks. He was physical. He was strong. He was quick. One of those things where you YouTube him and he looked mint. But his most famous YouTube clip, I'm sure it was a pigeon or a bird landed up middle at pitch and couldn't fly because its wings went, and he literally stopped the game and carried this bird off at pitch, and that's what he was more famous for than his actual football in his career. But yeah,
I remember that because that did the rounds. That did the rounds,
and that it was like, oh, look who we've signed, and the main clip of him carrying, I'm sure it was a bird carrying that off at pitch, and he stopped the game. But yeah, Habibou, and he played. I think he played 1 start and 3 sub appearances, and he was so pants. And my biggest wild card, probably, but I think he's definitely going in, is JKA, John Kevin Augustine, mate. He's definitely got. He's a showing. He's literally, I was totting it up, mate. Just over 40 million quid it's cost us in total, because we had to pay Leipzig 18 million when it finally went through courts. We then had to pay him 24.5 million in wages because we signed him on a 4-year deal for 100 grand a week, and then try to bloody do him over, didn't we? Totaling 823 grand a minute is how much it cost us for him playing. So
yeah, do you know what as well? Do you know what as well? Like that was, I don't like saying that was just snaky from Leeds. That, do you know what
mate, awful. I mean, to literally say, yeah, but the contract states this date. Yeah, but that date is because that's when the season ends 99.9% of the time. To then shift it because of COVID was absolutely disgraceful. Yeah. Disgraceful.
That's a stinker. That
absolutely, awful, mate. Victor Orta and Radrazani, mate, absolute snakes. Like when they're at club and we're going through it, I was sort of like, yeah, hopefully we can get away with it. Now they've gone and you look back, take those rose tinted glasses off and you look back and you just go, that's dirty. That.
Like, I figured it out as well, mate. This team stinks so hard. It nearly broke me missus's computer. That's how bad it stinks.
That's what it's done, pal. Yeah, it's Brock your Mac, isn't it? But yeah, he's definitely gets in for that alone. I mean, there can't be many players, Boss Nass, in football history of any club that's cost 823 grand a minute. There can't be anybody. That's got to be worst transfer in football history. It's got to be.
Unless you've signed somebody that gets sent down for murder the next day, then yeah, probably it's got to be.
It's got to be. Look at Danny there. Surprised Bamford's not on list. Are you a Bamford fan, Boss Nass?
Look, his best days are past him. I'll say that. When he scored the hat-trick against Aston Villa, man, that was magic. Like,
that would have him at his best. That would have him on the top of the mountain, on the crest of the wave. He didn't stay there too long though, did he? Unfortunately, but that was prime Bamford. That was quality actually. quality.
And like the thing is, you can't do that without quality. But I say like the consistency with the fella, it's just not there, is it? And it never was there. And he's been injury prone. And look, if you have a competent striker, and I think it was against Leicester, you score that goal and you put that penalty away against Newcastle, mate. We're not even in this league at the minute.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
He missed a lot of chances that were just massive. Not even massive chances, as in it should have been a goal. The moments, the points it cost us that have ultimately led us to where we are now. Like, it wasn't just a poor miss. It was the moments it's created at Leeds, mate. I remember the bad ones more than the good ones, really. Do you know what I mean? Which sounds really bad, but like I say, I can go through and I can remember maybe 4 or 5 misses, and I can remember the Villa game. I can't recall much outside that. You know, I know he had seasons when he went on a bit of a run and 17 goals one season and stuff, but I always downplay it, me going, yeah, but it was COVID season, which probably isn't fair to say, but I can't help it with him. I don't want to see him pull on our shirt anymore, which is awful, and I'll support him when he does. But I just feel like he's you know, he doesn't put those chances away. You know, like at minute, which we'll talk about tomorrow, but, you know, like at minute, you've got Pido and Joseph. You've got Joseph that runs around, but you've got Pido who scores. Like, Bamford never really scored the goals, really. He was never clinical, but he'd do the running about bit. But I feel like he's lost his legs now. He can't even do the running about anymore. And he could never finish anyway, really, to a sufficient level. So for me now, he don't really have no, you know what I mean? And he's on massive wages, Boss Nass, and we really could do with getting him off at books, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, like he should have been off books at the beginning of this season, if I'm being honest. But like, yeah, he's probably the one player that's caused me to swear more times over the last 3 to 4 years than anybody else in the team.
No, I
but at the same time, yeah, it's an hard one. I don't buy. Look, he is good at hold up play. You don't get points for hold up play.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You got more and more teams now than ever playing just one up top.
Yeah.
And then playing 2 DMs or some teams playing 2 10s or a mixture of the 5 within midfield.
Yeah.
He just doesn't suit that. He doesn't suit that. You can't have Bamford as a sole striker because you just won't get enough goals to win either games to get you the points to get you up. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it is, mate. I agree now, mate. Hopefully, like you say, now he ain't going to get many minutes. It'd be nice to see him go out on loan in January, but that'd mean we'd have to bring someone else in. So I think we just stuck with him till the end of the year, and hopefully we can part ways mutually. And yeah, wish him all the best. Hopefully he goes on and plays for England again, mate, and has a great career. I just don't want it to be at Leeds. So just get on now. But so we've got one more position to fill then in this striker role, I think. Or have we filled them? I've got one more, have we?
No, because we haven't picked Bamford, have we? We've got JK, and we've got one more. I forgot what I said. I think Enoch Shawumni, I think, gets off it just because his chant was so good.
Yeah, it was. Michael Ricketts, Luke Varney. I'll tell you who else isn't on my list, but I considered it for striker, but I quite liked his endeavour and his effort. Noel Hunt. I quite like. He never give up running him. He had sweatbands on wrist, didn't he, on both wrists, and little man just ran around it. So as poor as he was, standard wise, I couldn't put him on the list just because he was a workhorse with Noel Hunt. He really was.
Yeah, there's some people on here that give you nothing, and he gave you something, at least something.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, mate, we had a lot of dross, didn't we? But we had a lot of dross that didn't give you out. So there's a lot more of them than who deserves to be on the list than Noel Hunt. But yeah, I looking at this list, mate, there's no one who jumps out at me. Habib who were poor. Luke Varney, I didn't rate him. Polion, Jose, J. Roy Gropp. Michael Ricketts is probably standing out. Oh, Danny's just said it at the same time.
Yeah, I'd like to see Michael Ricketts. I don't think with the Habubu one, with the knockoff Haribo geezer. I don't think we had too many strikers that were too poor for too long, and they were still getting minutes. Whereas he only had 4 games or something.
Yeah, 4 games on loan.
Yeah, that he hadn't stunk the gaff out for long enough to get on the pitch.
Not like Ricketts has. When you think how good Ricketts was back in the day, when we got Ricketts, I'm pretty sure I can't remember, but I'm sure we'll have been happy at the time for a striker at Leeds United to get no goals in 25. When I don't forget, Ricketts has got an England cap as well, Boss Nass. Don't forget, only the one. But he has got an England cap.
Yeah, it shows you the state of England back then, doesn't it?
Crazy, mate. Crazy.
Yeah, I think we lock it in, mate. Ricketts, shocker.
I've locked it in, mate. Definitely, I've gone with that. I'm buzzing with that. So that's our. This is the final best worst 11 in the last 20 years. So who did we go for the manager? What it? Darko.
Darko Milanic.
So Darko Milanic as the manager. We've got Paul Rachubka in goal. Lawrence de Bock on left, Rasmus Christiansen on right, Belushi and Wootton. Oof, that's going to concede 6 or 7 a game, that one.
That stinks.
That's awful. Adam Johnson, the bleeding nonce. Sloth, Nichols, Jimmy Kebby, JK8 and Ricketts. That is just absolutely atrocious.
That honks, bro. That honks.
I absolutely love it, though. I know we're going to go for the owner. We're going to go for the owner. We had, I think, Krasner for first season. Then he sold it to Bates. Who else have we had? We had that GFH. We had Cellino, Radrazani. Who we going for? Oh, and I'm going to go Ken Bates because he's Chelsea scum. Owned by Bates. Oh, Cellino. What do you think?
Oh, it's between, for me, it's between Batesy and Cellino, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be on it. It's got to be.
Yeah, let's chuck it up. Let's chuck it up to the boys.
Well, Danny's put Cellino. What do you think? Yeah, I think Cellino definitely, mate. We'll go with that. Like I say, and I can't remember last time we had a good owner. To be fair, mate. We thought Radrazani, well, didn't we? Then we just talked about the JK.
No, it's now, mate. The time is now. The time is now.
Hopefully, I'm feeling good about him anyway. I don't have any negative thoughts or energies towards them at the minute. I think they're doing us right at the minute, and hopefully we've finally got a good one in door, pal, because I feel like even under Cellino, there was a period of time where he'd go to the pub and he'd buy fans beers, and when we were indulgence and we were poor, an element of you likes that, but it was just a twat when he was sacking managers. He were always impressed. You had even Radrazani were always tweeting stuff out. We've always been a bit of a circus, haven't we? Like, at least now with 49ers boss now, they don't really give much away, which annoys people. And obviously, as you know, I'm sort of new. I'm new onto YouTube scene, so I ain't had a transfer window. I've only been doing it a couple of months now. So when I'm trying to probably do content, when I get a little bit better at it and bigger, hopefully, I'll maybe feel the pressures what the big guys feel. Not having that information because I don't give much out. But as a fan who wouldn't ask for that right now, I quite like that they keep the cards close to the chest, because how many times have we had it? We're signing him, he's on an airplane and all that shit, and we just look like fucking idiots, don't we?
No, yeah, but yeah, look, it's again, if we was a South American country, we'd be Cuba, wouldn't we? We'd be that crackpot, that crackpot country that nearly started World War III.
100%, mate. 100%.
You know what I mean? But look, it's never boring being a Leeds fan. Could you imagine being like, I don't know, what's the most boringest club? Brentford fan. It's boring, man.
Honestly, mate, just there's so many sides, isn't there, where the best you can hope for is just mid-table, like mediocrity, and
not even that, mate. It's just the banter's non-existent. The stadium's rubbish. The atmosphere's rubbish.
Bournemouth, teams like that. Even if they're playing good football, even if they're doing okay at their level, there's just a ceiling to what you can be when you're a club like that. And it's not even being disrespectful, really. It's like we're Leeds United, and even clubs like that know what we are. Our history, everything. It does mean something. And I know sometimes we're clutching at straws, just wanting something. But even when we're poor, we've still got that. We're still Leeds United. We've still got that buzz around the place. The fans, it's just a massive club, mate. And it'd be nice to see us in Premier League next season, which I'm sure we will be.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Because look, if we don't look, the meltdowns over Rutter, Somerville, Archie. Look, if we don't go up this year, the meltdowns next window is gonna be epic.
Mate, unbelievable, bad. Yeah, like I say, we'll touch on all that tomorrow, buddy. I want to get your opinions on the current affairs tomorrow. Hopefully, you can come on. So, one last quick one about this. What level of English football is this side playing at? And
same one as Bridtown, mate. They'd be in the Northern Premier League East Division. So two leagues
wins.
Two leagues below Scarborough is where this team's at.
Oh, wow.
Who wins between this team and Brid? Look.
Is it a toss-up? Only joking.
Look, we just got beat 5-2 at home by Ossett, mate, and that tells you where Brid's at the minute. But I'm
going to say, boss, let's touch on your channel anyway, please. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm going to start. want to start coming over and looking at it, mate, because you're a top guy, and I love that you're following your local side and getting them on YouTube. It's mint that, to be fair, mate.
Yeah, they don't have now. Do you know what I mean? They don't have.
No.
Well, they do. They have the official. They have the official channel, but look, that's all regimented. That's all company line. Do you know what I mean? So, me and a few mates go down to the games, and then like what Joe does and other people do. We have a natter. We have like a post match, this, that, and the other. A few panel shows. It gives the town something to watch. Whereas, like, I have played with the idea of doing some Leeds United content, but the thing is for me is that how much is that going to take away from the people that I'm serving or doing content for now? And I don't want that to be affected. So I quite like just coming on up and coming channels like your own, or anybody else that's looking just to have like a free flowing convo or whatever. And because there's so many good Leeds United channels out there now that but there's so much content now I just like to come on and help the people out in between doing my bridge stuff. But it's called Seasiders TV, all one word. I've got 80 subscribers. So believe me, and Matty will tell you the same thing. We notice every sub, every like, every.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Because we're building, we're trying to build something. So
that's decent, that, mate. That's decent, that, Boss Nass. Decent,
yeah,
mate.
I mean, sometimes I get 250 views. Do you know what I mean? On a channel which look at the population of this town wouldn't be able to fill Elland Road. So
wow.
So it's decent. But like I said, likes, subscribes, anything you can do, shares this stuff for channels like these when they're putting in the hard work is more appreciated than you'll ever know. So if you are watching this, if you're watching the replay from me to another startup YouTuber who's doing great things for Leeds, just go down there and press it. It does mean a lot.
Cheers, Boss Nass. Really appreciate that, mate. And yeah, thanks a lot, Polly. I echo everything you said there, mate. It's takes a lot of time away from evenings with misses and things like that, you know what I mean? But it's my biggest passion outside my family, so it's something, you know, hopefully going forward. To be fair, I'm not really too focused on numbers and stuff. It's more just mental health, me offloading, chatting about some of that. I love it. It's just good for me, you know what I mean? I just really enjoy it. So whatever comes of it, comes of it. But I'm just really enjoying it. I've got loads of ideas, what keeps coming to me, you know, day by day. And this were another one. Wanted to get someone on who's a fan at channel and chat, and it's gone really well. But I love, you know what I love, mate, that you're doing that with, you know, you see Siders channel, and it's mint when you consider you strip back all that shit from football, the money and the egos and, you know, the fame and all the fortunes of football, and you're doing it like at non-league level. Fair play, mate. It's quality, mate. And it must be so enjoyable to not have all that shit and just focus on the football, which is why we're all fans anyway. At the end of the day, Boss Nass, we aren't bothered what cars they drive. I aren't bothered what money they're on. Really, it don't affect me. I just want to watch the football, and you've got that at that level, haven't you? Which is brilliant, mate.
Yeah, look, for a small town club, look, we're sponsored by Duracell.
Fair play.
So look, and we've got a new owner, and we've got one of the highest budgets in the league. We're really underperforming at the minute. But
where are you in league, Boss Nass? Are you struggling?
Yeah, we're struggling. We are, I believe, we're about 18 out of 17 out of 22 ish.
Relegation scrap.
4 go down, mate.
Oof. Yeah. Fucking hell.
So yeah, we're right in amongst it. But look, we've got a big game on Saturday against that massive club, Heaton Stannington from up near Newcastle. So
class. Boss Nass take Bamford on loan. Nah, I don't want him. Right, anyways. Right, Boss Nass. Thanks so much for coming on, mate. Absolute legend. And yeah, we'll get you on again for some current stuff. Hopefully you can call on tomorrow for a bit of a chat on there. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone in chat has been on, putting your comments in. Thanks so much. And anyone who's still to watch it, yeah, stick a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And yeah, take care. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.